Hello, my name is Blake LaRue, and today I'm going to be teaching you some very basics on how to, as a beginner, learn how to play French horn. First two subjects I want to talk about is embouchure and buzzing. Embouchure is how we describe how our mouth should be shaped when we play the horn. Now, there's two things to remember when doing that is face shape. Make sure you have a flat chin, which is very hard for me to demonstrate because I have a lot of chin. Next thing you need to do is make sure that your lips and corners of your mouth is in the right place. Your corners of your mouth should be firm, and your lips should be in the position. The best way to describe it is to use the phrase mm. That will always set up correctly. Make sure the corners are firm, and make sure there's a little separation between your lips, and your lips are in the kiss position. Now for buzzing, the best place to start is how to hold a mouthpiece. To actually make a sound on a horn, you have to buzz. Most people think it's just blow air through it, but I can demonstrate this for you. Setting up a mouthpiece, you need to make sure it's in the center of your mouth, and yet you have 2/3 upper lip and 1/3 lower inside the mouthpiece itself. The best way to do this is to use the T-sip method. So, and that will set up the mouthpiece every time in the mouth. And when you buzz, what you do is you form that position, bring the mouthpiece up to your face, take a good breath, blow a constant stream of air through it, and bring your lips together enough to where it produces that buzz, which I can demonstrate for you. Just like that. Now you want to make sure that there is no fluctuation in the airspeed because then it will sound like a swarm of bees. You just want to make sure that's just one single beat, a constant stream. Next, I'd like to talk about posture and hand position. You need to get this right from the beginning because it will affect you in the future, and you want to make sure you get it right. So for posture, you want to begin with feet flat on the floor with your back off the back of the chair. And to begin with how you hold the horn, you need to start with your left hand. Now, you want to put your finger in this crook that they put in here just for you, and make sure that your fingers rest on the third, second, that's first, second, and third valve, and that your thumb is on this fourth rotary valve back here. Now, for your right hand actually goes in the horn, and it should always be in this shape that we call the princess wave. The princess wave, and make sure that there is a curve in your hand. You don't want too much because when you stick it in the horn, to make a very stuffy sound, but just a slight curve, and that there is no space between your finger and your thumb. And when you stick it in the horn, you need to use your horn as a clock to tell you exactly where you need to put it. Using your mouthpiece as the top of your bell as the clock, this will be the 12 o'clock position. Your hand needs to be in the horn between the 12 and 3 o'clock position. And when you put your hand in the horn, it should rest up against it, your hand flat, all the way up to your knuckles. And I can demonstrate that for you. Just like this. Bringing the mouthpiece up to your face. Now, if you're a beginner, you might need to rest the horn on your leg if you're too short. If you're on the taller end, it's good to be able to hold your horn off your leg, which generally, as you get older, that wouldn't become a problem. Last thing I'd like to talk about is articulation and tone production. Articulation is just a big word for describing how we form separation between notes, which is actually we use our tongue to tap the front of our mouth, and it makes a separation for those notes. Best way we use to describe where to tongue is top of the tip of the tongue. Top of the tip of the tongue, when you say that, the top, tip, and tongue, you should, with your tongue, be tapping the front of your mouth between the top set of your teeth and the roof of the gum line. So just between the teeth and the gum in your top part of your mouth. So another way to describe it would be saying like the word toe. Bad articulation would be saying like foo when you tongue. I can demonstrate that for you. Whereas good articulation would be. Now, finally, what I'd like to talk to you about was the tone production. There is several signs that something may be up with your tone, something bad. There's 4 big examples. One would be an airy sound. That is generally a sign that your aperture, how big and open your mouth is too big. You want to have a good open sound, but not crazy open. Next part of that would be for an airy sound is that your airstream is not focused. The best way to fix that is to practice sticking your finger at arm's length apart, doing that poof position, blowing a constant stream of air to your finger. Make sure it's hitting that finger, but make sure your air is focused to hit only that finger. Next would be a growly sound, and that is a sign that you don't have a good seal on the mouthpiece. You want to make sure there's no leaky air, but you don't want to press the mouthpiece really hard against your face. Another would be a very tight sound. That's generally a sign that your tongue in your mouth is too high. There needs to be an arch in your tongue, but not where it's restricting airflow. Just a slight arch. You don't like have a crazy St. Louis arch in your mouth. Final one, which is probably the most common one I've ran into, is students having a very brassy sound. This would be a very piercing, ice picking your ear sound. This is generally a sign of tight lips or students overblowing. The best description I have for a good sound is a chocolatey, velvety, smooth tone. You don't want to have something that's like spicy chili. Nothing that's like thick or really zingy in your sound. So I'd like to thank you for joining me and listening, and happy musicking.